I like how it says there's the button that says got it or leave meeting.
Hey, Tubi friends, 2022 is come and gone, and I brought in my friend Drew from not only The Real Feels, but Needs to Be Seen, the other amazing Tubi watcher, to talk, 2022 Tubi. How's it going, Drew?
It goes.
So, this last was, what did he say, 2 years, I think, is kind of where we've kind of started ramping this up. This past year, I think it's
focused.
We got a little more focused this year, and we started with like themes on Tuesday to watch, like on Tubi Tuesday, and then we just kind of, we do occasional videos here and there, and just kind of have fun with Tubi. We've discovered like, hey, this is kind of a gold mine of movies out there,
right?
Good and bad.
Especially the bad. But I think that's also the beauty of Tubi with, I don't know. I think people hear sometimes like, oh, free streaming service. Okay, it's got to be a bunch of garbage stuff. And you're right. It is. But
there is.
But it's also a treasure trove. It is a treasure trove of like actual good movies, stuff that you can get on Tubi that you can't get on like other like mainstream, services. And I don't know. I think it's always a pleasant surprise what I can actually find on Tubi. Go check like Just Watch and see what's dropped on Tubi for the week or the month.
Yeah. And I feel like Tubi, especially this last year, has kind of ramped up what they're putting up there. Like
they're stepping up the games. They're bringing out Tubi originals.
Yeah, they've come out with a bunch of Tubi originals. I mean, I'll name a few that we got this year. One, my favorite, Shark Side of the Moon, was the absolute highlight of the year for sure. I mean, we got a Terror Train remake, and then 2 months later, we got a sequel to said remake.
Terror Train 2.
One called Toe with Kane Hodder came out. Bed Rest recently, which I really enjoyed.
I need to watch Bed Rest.
And then, I mean, there were so many others. There was one with Bruce Willis. I forgot the name of it.
There was a few with Bruce Willis. And I mean, I wanted to say that like, ooh, they're making Tubi originals. Yeah. And, they're having like actual, like really good actors in there, like Bruce Willis. And then I kind of started thinking to myself, well, Bruce Willis was also just kind of like just plugging away all these movies. That's why he had like his own didn't he have his own category at the Razzies?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, but I mean, and so unfortunately for the fact of like, now we realize why he was putting out so many movies. And I mean, still bless him, bless that man.
Yeah. Tubi, I think in the past, at least towards the end of the year, they were putting out like a new Tubi original every Friday. So they'd come out with roughly around 4 a month there towards the end of the year, which they've really been ramping up. They've pushed the World Cup on Tubi when it was going on. They didn't live stream any of it, but they had like matches right after they finished. So if you didn't get to see it, you could watch it in 4K on Tubi. So they've also really stepped it up. So it's made it even more exciting for us when we're looking at what Tubi has to offer, all the things that they providing.
Exactly. Currently, right now, there are 80 Tubi originals.
Oh, wow. I didn't know there was that many.
Yeah, there's 80 Tubi originals.
And I've seen quite a few. I wouldn't say half. I definitely have not seen half of them.
And I think some of them are not. I think what people like probably should, go into knowing is that not all of them are like 100% movies. They're not just like these original films. A lot of them are like some documentaries.
Yes.
And then you have, you do have some remakes. I think you have things that would technically be kind of like featured as like, oh, it's this TBS original movie. And like, it's like a made for TV quality.
Yeah. There are some of them that are that way.
Right.
There are a few that I watched this past year that were definitely that made for TV feel. And they were a little rough to get through. But over the year, I know on Letterboxd keep a full list of everything that I've watched.
I know
over the year.
you're so much better at that than I am, which I'm gonna be better this year. I've already started a Tubi 2023 watch list. So
and I mean, I was so hardcore about it. I would do my Tubi Tuesday monthly list. So here's everything I watched for that month.
Yeah,
and then I had the separate list of everything.
You were so
I had it like broken down,
organized with all of this.
I'm not that organized in life. I will tell you that right now. I'm organized with my Tubi watches.
This is where I shine.
And on my list, I watched 242 movies throughout the year on Tubi, which is for a normal person, it's quite a lot.
For a normal person. For the abnormal person. Okay, so as I was like saying beforehand, a lot of stuff, just like any normal streaming service, it rotates on and it rotates off of the streaming service. So I have a list currently of what I logged on Letterboxd in my diary, not specifically as a Tubi watch, but Letterboxd is very good at kind of categorizing it by what services it is available through. And so according to Letterboxd, according to my diary for 2022, 375 of my watches are
Which is a lot for a normal person.
Yeah. But what's normal?
and with Tubi, I mean, you could look at my list that I make, and there's a lot of those that may not be available anymore. It's because they do come and go. And I mean, just like any streaming service, that happens. Like there were a few times where I did a Tubi theme for the week of, here's what our theme's going to be. And then I'd get some movies figured out like the week before. And then that Tuesday I'll be like, oh, this one's gone. Now I gotta figure out. But Tubi has a section of leaving soon. Sometimes I think you do the same thing. You click in there and you're like, oh, I'm gonna see what's in here.
I usually try to go look at leaving soon first. And what I appreciate is that not only when you look at it online or when you look at it like, if you have a smart TV and you can stream it through there, it's not just like in the category of like, oh, it's leaving soon. Well, that's kind of vague, but also direct. But they'll give you like a little number in the corner of the thumbnail. And you're like, okay, cool. That's a 5. So I have like 5 days to watch this film. Mm-hmm. So I very much appreciate that, because things like, I think like even Prime, like even on Prime, when you rent something, I think sometimes you have to like click on or go into the specific film. And then it tells you like, oh, this is going to be gone in this days, or you have X amount of days to finish watching it.
Now, off the top of your head over this past year, are there any like movies that really kind of stood out throughout the year that you're like, ooh, I'm glad I discovered this, or that I watched this, or anything like that?
So, now it's on Tubi now, but I know I didn't watch it on Tubi, but I'm gonna give this recommendation because I know it's on Tubi right now. So I finally watched 12 Angry Men.
The original?
The original.
I have never seen it.
It's so good. It is just solid. Just so solid.
I think it's in
very
the AFI
happy.
Top 100, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah, it is. And I'm so happy I finally watched it. I thought it was just, it was such a, I don't know, like you get into these people's lives and you're stuck with them in that room while they're deliberating. And you can understand the frustration. You can understand. You're almost like getting sweaty and, aggravated as they are, waiting for someone to like, just collaborate with what is that verdict going to be. And everything just keeps getting stalled. And you're with them along for the ride. 1957, fantastic film. I thought that was a great watch. One that is on Tubi that I would very much recommend. And it's not even a category for a genre of film that I seek out. And we've discussed this before. So found footage horror, even though I like it, It depends on what it is. Now, I did watch Gunjim, the Haunted Asylum from 2018.
Okay.
And this film, 4 out of 5, absolutely loved it. I thought it was genuinely creepy. Like, I think with found footage, obviously there's that realistic aspect to it. Like Hell House LLC, only the first one got me. Like the first one actually had me like, this is creepy. And obviously, you know, it's fake because it's a movie, but there is that something there, which you don't, but there is that something with found footage horror that it makes it a little unnerving because, again, much like any film that you can just kind of like put yourself in that place, like as the camera turns and they're looking because that's all they can see through. That's all you can see through. You're following that camera too. That's your line of sight. So you're seeing what they see. So of course it's creepy as hell. And I thought it was incredibly well done.
Yeah. And found footage for me is definitely very, they always tend to miss more than they hit for me.
Right. Right. It's also probably in some aspects the easiest to make.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
In some ways. But yeah, but I think you're right. Like they miss, but when they hit, they hit.
Because there were a couple that did not hit that I watched this year. One called Infrared that it was really a really rough.
I remember you not enjoying that, and I avoided it. I avoided it because.
And another one called He's Watching, which the concept was cool, but overall I was just like, it's one of those that you just kind of like, you feel like you're falling asleep. You're just like, okay, come on.
Oh,
okay. You're just sitting there like recording people over and over again.
I did watch He's Watching. That was the guy where the kids go up to the cabin and the guy's like, I need my computer, my camera chip.
No, that was that the Requiem for a Scream? I think it was that one.
Oh, maybe it is. You know what it is?
But the mask is very similar.
The mask is like like the face.
Yep. The mask in both of those films is very, very similar to each other.
Now I'm trying to remember if I even watched.
Another highlight that I watched this year was a movie called Midnight. It's a Korean film about a woman being stalked by someone, but this woman is deaf.
Ooh, that's what I told you about.
Yes, it's really good. Really good. Really like edge of your seat, kind of suspenseful.
So you waited and found it on Tubi. Yes. I rented that and watched it, and I was like, dang. So a deaf character, I'm already intrigued because I can air quote that. I know ASL, and I have deaf friends, and I took sign language as my foreign language in high school and college, and the deaf character immediately intrigued me. It's like watching Hush on Netflix.
I still haven't watched that. Oh, I need to watch it, but I haven't watched it yet.
You need to watch it, bro. But yeah, Midnight was good. I'm glad you watched that.
It added when someone's being chased and she can't hear when they're coming for her. I mean, it just adds a whole different level of tension because you're sitting there like wanting to yell at your screen, being like, he's behind you, and she has no idea.
It's immediately with the audience. It is that dramatic irony where you're it's the epitome of just.
She has like this
TV,
like the sound bar that's in her car, so like she knows sound like the
right. It's someone's coming up.
So there's times where you see it kind of moving, and she's not paying attention, and you're just like ah. But yes, dude, if Midnight is still on Tubi, you definitely have to watch it.
Go watch it. I mean, when he's sneaking up at the sound bar, when she thinks that she's alone.
Yes.
And the lights turned out and he's made his way in the house. Gosh.
It's good stuff.
It's good. It was very, very good. Well, with highlights, obviously, you have some lowlights. And from 2021, I watched The Stairs by Peter Tiaman. So this is where the summary on Letterboxd says, in 1997, 11-year-old Jesse finds a mysterious staircase in the woods and disappears. 20 years later, a group of hikers sets off into the very same woods. Unfortunately for them, they come face to face with the very same set of stairs. Now, it's stupid. It is so stupid, and it makes zero sense. There's like no explanation for what happens or like why these things are here, or I mean, it's just I don't know. I could see it being interesting, but like why? Like some things have no explanation. There's random setup. There's no building to where you actually care about these characters. Like I'm watching halfway through the time and I'm all like, is that kid going to die? Good. Don't care.
Yeah. When you get a movie like that, you're just like, just get to the end. Kill them all. Like I felt that way with Terror Train 2. Like I did not like any of the characters in that movie. And I'm just like, all right, I don't care if you die. Like, honestly. Terror Train 2
was genuinely frustrating. It was incredibly frustrating.
There are a few moments that, like, there were some good kills. There were a few good scenes, but the characters were not likable.
No.
I think you kind of figured out who it was, like, 5 minutes in.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, oh my gosh. The random side character who's always wanting like the autograph or the picture.
Oh,
or
yes.
Where
they try to point really hard that we're going to make you think it's this person hardcore, but it's not. Ha ha.
The social media socialite where, you know, this is all for her fans. And then there's the best friend who's trying to be supportive, but is pushy as hell. And then apologetic, but then still pushy a second later. I think the only person who actually gave like a genuine acting was the guy who played the magician.
And I didn't feel like he was in it that much. Like I kind of just felt he was kind of just shoehorned in to like, oh yeah, we got to bring him back.
His attitude, like, I mean, I think it kind of fit his character because even he was all like, yeah, well, I have to pay bills.
Yeah.
Like, of course I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do like this magic show. And the rest of you can just like piss off because I'm trying to live my life again.
This is my job. What I chose to do for a living. I need to do something.
I have to.
But yeah, that movie, that movie was, as you said it right. Frustrating. It was because the first one wasn't. The remake wasn't the best. It was almost a beat for beat, but it was still, for the most part, it was entertaining.
Yep.
And the second one just,
yeah, it was not okay.
I know you didn't. You and I did a whole separate thing of during horror. We do 150 days of horror, which we're going to cut back this next year. But I decided on top of that to add 31 days of terror on Tubi because every year they do terror on Tubi. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch 31 new horror movies on Tubi and just roll with it, which I will probably do again this year. So anyone watching this, watch for on the @Tubi Tuesday social media. I'm going to do 31 days of terror on Tubi again because I had a blast with that one.
There's plenty to choose from.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And when you think of some of the themes that we did during that month, like pumpkins, what else did we do that month? We did, I know a month before we did a Danny Trejo theme, which was really fun. We just watched Danny Trejo movies.
Gosh, what did we do? We did pumpkins. And what was, I think slasher was just a generic. Yeah.
Yes, we did slasher movies because and we did like possession movies.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And there was one other one that I can't think of right this second, but yeah. I have fun with the theme every week, just trying to come up with one.
Oh yeah.
I think there was during Christmas we did a few themes, and there was one movie that's absolutely terrible, but it must be watched with people. It's called Nutcracker Massacre. And
I'm going to save that for next year. I assume it'll still be on Tubi by then.
I did a like a watch party, and our friend Dan from Netflix and Swill got on, and he and I watched it together, and we were just like,
see, you guys do this watch party when I'm at work and I can't do it.
And we were just, there was this comments back and forth, and we are like, did this just happen? This did just happen. And it's like, wait a second, didn't that character die? How are they, what? Like it makes no sense, but it's one of those, like, I just watched this. It was stupid, but I kind of enjoyed my time.
I kind of liked it.
It's not a good movie, but I had fun. So yes, I think next year when we do, I'm going to do Nutcracker Massacre again next year. If it's still there, I'll do a watch party and see if we can get more people together. I won't do it during the day when you're at work.
Thank you, Brad. There was one that I saw during our, holiday winter viewings, because, I did like my own little challenge for Real Feels, like, the holiday movie extravaganza challenge thing. And one I saw from 2013 is called Stalled. And I thought Stalled was really, really clever.
I saw you watch that, and I put it on a list, but I haven't watched it yet.
And you know what? It's funny. It's British. It's Christmas Eve. You have a janitor who makes his way into the ladies' bathroom, and he goes into the stall because he's trying to hide from the ladies who are coming into the bathroom. Okay. He's obviously not supposed to be in there, and he has a toolbox, and you see him open the toolbox, and there's something inside that you're like, that shouldn't be in a toolbox. And then he closes it, and he has to hide in the bathroom because they're coming. Well, as he's in there, things start just happening, and it goes really weird, and it goes south. And then you realize, oh, dang, it's a zombie outbreak in this office party.
Oh,
that's where he's stuck. He is stalled in the stall.
Now the name makes sense.
So it's quite funny. I thought it was pretty clever, and for such a simple film where it literally takes place in, I don't know, this 15 by 30 room, and mostly in the stall.
Okay,
and it's not bad. It's not bad.
Now, I will say another one that you and I finally watched. It took us a while to watch it together. Baby Oopsie.
Yes.
Tubi has their own kind of channels within Tubi, and one of them is Full Moon Features, and you and I are big fans of Full Moon's movies, the Puppet Master series, which we were watching through.
Full Moon.
And Baby Oopsie is a character from Demonic Toys that we were trying to get together to do a watch party. We finally did. And it was so fun.
It's so great. I mean,
I can't wait to see there's two more. I can't wait to watch 2 and 3.
I am so happy with how Baby Oopsie came out. I was so pleased with it. I thought it was funny as all get out.
Yes.
Libby Higgins is a gem in that film. I think she is just, I think she's so good. I think she's so good as our lead. And
she's so quirky. She's got this weird quirkiness to her, but also you feel for everything that she's going through, and you're rooting for her.
Right. And I think to the fact that like with the amount of just like harassment and ridicule that she gets in the film, it's so over the top that you can't help but laugh at it. Like you have to laugh at the extreme that they take certain things to, where you're like, that's ridiculous. Okay, I guess okay, it's funny. It's funny how stupid that is. And I don't know, man. It was so great. I loved the fact that when I saw that there was a Baby Oopsie 2, and I was like, oh my God, Brad, there's Baby Oopsie 2. And then boom, second one in 2022. Brad, there's a third one.
Which we're going to watch this year. We're going to watch 2 and 3 this year. We'll do watch parties and we will watch those.
And
I know it's one of those Tubi you can't really say like, what are you looking forward to watching in 2023, because it's ever changing.
Yeah.
And they come out with their originals, but you don't know until shortly before they release. They kind of like, I get a monthly email that lets me know here's the originals we got coming out.
Right.
But I don't know until like that month. So I can't say, oh, I can't wait for such and such to come out in, June, because I have no idea.
Right.
I'm just going to keep chugging along. Make sure you follow me at Tubi Tuesday. Follow you at Needs Tubi, Tubi, Scene. And we both post our Tubi watches. We both take part in the theme. I post the theme of the week every Tuesday. And with that theme, we just say one of your watches for that day, just be on this theme. And then you just kind of go from there. I take it a little further. Sometimes you do. We watch 4 or 5 that day.
Yeah, depending on my time. Because of course I don't try to do things light, Brad. I gotta do Tubi or Tubi Tuesday watches. I gotta do my year-long there and back again movie scavenger hunt. And now the Countdown podcast has come out with their movie scavenger hunt, light and advanced version.
Yes, I did see that. And I don't because I like my time. I try not to partake in too many of those.
You know what? It's a lot. It's a lot. But I also like the fact that there's not necessarily a super deadline that you definitely have to adhere to for a lot of them. Obviously, you need to have them done by a certain time, but you're not gridlocked into you absolutely must watch this amount of movies each week. You can powerhouse through them if you postpone it for a while, or you can just, slowly just kind of make your way through. And I love the fact of the categories, because it puts me on a hunt, because for any scavenger hunt that I'm doing as a goal, if I can, I want to make it a new watch.
Well, you know what we should do for 2023, Drew? We should come up with a little mini Tubi hunt.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be large. We don't have to do 100 or whatever, but just a small one. We'll start small, maybe 20 movies or something like that. We'll come up with a little hunt for people to scour through Tubi and see what they watch.
I like it. Tubi treasure hunt.
Make sure you watch social media, because that's where we'll post it.
Yes.
Anything else that you want to talk about on Tubi before we wrap things up? I love Tubi.
I'm loving Tubi. I don't think people probably give it enough credit, but I think I love the fact that it's gaining in popularity. Yes. And I think people need to really give it a try. And I understand young people that you don't like your commercials when you're streaming something. I paid for my Pandora Premium because I can't stand a commercial in between my songs.
See, I'm not as I think I complain about commercials in my music more than my shows. Watching movies with the commercials, it doesn't bother me. We grew up with that. Music shouldn't bother me either, but because
there were commercials on the radio.
Yeah,
but I don't know. For me, the commercials are not a bother in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Because Okay,
I hate seeing the same one every break, but
I've noticed on Tubi I'll get a lot of like Spanish commercials, and I'm like,
I get some that pop in every once in a while.
Like I don't know what they're saying, and then suddenly all I hear is like Chevy, and I'm like, oh, it's for a car.
Well, what was funny is when you and I did a watch party for Baby Oopsie, anytime a commercial came, it went black for you. Yeah, and your commercials came different.
Commercials.
And when Dan and I did the watch party, we got the same commercials at the same time. And I was getting Medicare commercials, which was hilarious.
I'm wondering if it's like a time zone. Possibly.
It's got to be.
It would.
I'm in Ohio. You're in California, so they're probably like.
And it was kind of weird because it wouldn't necessarily go black per se. I could see my commercial happening.
when we were off, I'd be like, okay, I'm in a commercial, timing, and you're not.
Right. But what the thing is that when my commercial was happening, I could still hear the movie happening for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could still hear the movie audio when it was playing for you, and I had a commercial.
That is funny. So yeah.
So it would be like, this life insurance commercial, families hugging, getting together and having like a picnic or something. And suddenly all I hear is Baby Oopsie is like, you're going to die, bitch.
Well, and for those that anyone wants to do a Tubi watch party, Scener, it's SCENER. It's just a plugin for Chrome, and it will sync whoever's clicks the link. It syncs you up all together within Tubi, and you just watch together, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing where technology has gone since 2020 when we were like, we got to find ways to be together, even though we're not together. Well, all right. Well, we're definitely going to do another one of these next year. Maybe we'll be a little more organized. Who knows? But throughout the year, we'll still do some Tubi reviews and all kinds of other stuff. Where besides at Needs to Be Seen, where else can we find the lovely Drew?
Oh, well, you can also find myself and my other two co-hosts, Jack and Nathan, on the Real Feels podcasts. That's REEL, like a film reel. And you can search Instagram. You can search on Facebook for that. On Twitter, we are at Real Feels Pod. And any podcast app out there, Amazon Music, Audible, just search for the Real Feels podcast. Everything that you can put in your ear holes. We come out with an episode every 2 weeks. Primary focus of our show, we review movies, but we try to focus on a different movie genre. Not even try, we do. We focus on a different movie genre every 2 weeks. And it's a hoot and a half.
Yeah, watch for the Real Feels. Needs to Be Seen. Tubi Tuesday. You can also find me at the Cinema Guys. That's my podcast that I do. 3 friends that just get together to talk movies when we can. But I'll be back with more videos. Maybe Drew will come along from time to time. You know what I like to say? Tuesdays aren't just for tacos. We'll see you, everybody. See you later, everybody.